Ispirazzjoni u esperimenti ma' Angel Gallia.
Nilqakom għal programm ieħor Ispirazzjoni u Esperimenti u llum il-mistidna tagħna hija bbażata Londra. Simon Lija hija cartoonist, hija wkoll kittieba. Se nitkellmu bl-Ingliż għaliex trabbiet l-Ingilterra, imma il-ġenituri tagħha tnejn huma Maltin, ġifieri qed nitkellmu ma' persuna Maltija li hija bbażata l-Ingilterra. Welcome to our show, Simon.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for...
Sorry, I can't speak Maltese, everyone.
It's okay. We're bilingual, so we'll manage to communicate, so that's great. So, Simon, you started painting and drawing from a very young age. Maybe you could tell us about your childhood and your early relationship with art, around how it shaped you as a person, as an artist, the artist today.
Well, I think like children, I mean, I did enjoy drawing a lot. I wasn't particularly good at it, I wouldn't say, but I just liked it. So
that's very modest.
I wasn't though. You know how you kind of rank yourself with your classmates? I definitely wasn't up there as the best, but I liked it. And I don't know if it was the same at your school, but when we were doing lessons, we had to draw the picture that was in the book. Mm-hmm. I don't know, is that normal?
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't have said that was
old
a brilliant
school,
way
right?
to learn.
Mm-hmm.
It's very old school. Mm-hmm. But you know what? That was my favourite bit of the lesson.
Because you're drawing.
Actually, I love the drawing. And actually, I remember stuff that I was learning at school from thinking about doing those drawings. So there was something about using images to process information. I think that's how my brain works. Yes. And then later on that became a bit more, doing comics, pictures and words. So I think there was something there about processing that I really enjoyed. But I didn't know that it would end up being comics. I didn't know that you could do that as a job. And I mean, I used to like reading comics and things, but when you get older, comics you just think of it as a sort of superhero thing.
Yes, I understand. That's how we're brought up.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's much broader than that. So yeah, I think, and then when I was a bit older, when I was a teenager, I got into drawing and painting at school, and I just loved that it was like a complete escapism. You can just go into another world.
Yes.
So, and I decided from a young age, this is what I would love to be able to do. What I wanted to do.
How privileged to do what you love and enjoy, right?
Yes. Yeah. My dad wanted me to he wanted me to be not so much to do art, but to be like what do you call it? A surveyor, quantity surveyor, which I was actually quite up for. Mm-hmm. But then I got a prize at school, and that encouraged my parents to let me do the art thing.
Thank goodness.
I feel so I know. I'm so happy that I could go to art college. Honestly, that was just thank you, parents.
So you grew up in England with Maltese heritage. Just a point to point out, you're my cousin. So your dad is my uncle. So how was your Maltese background influencing your art, the themes you chose, your humor, the characters, maybe the storytelling style? How did the Maltese heritage influence that?
Do you know what? No one's ever asked me that, so thank you for asking me that.
Yeah.
And you did send me this question a bit earlier, so I've been thinking about it. It's like, I think it has influenced quite a lot, actually. I think maybe the humour thing is definitely from my family, sort of strange sense of humour that comes out in the
quirky Maltese humour. I think.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's more. Yeah, but there's something there. Yes, but also the experience, I suppose, looking back and thinking of being, my family came over in the 60s. They're immigrants, and I think a lot of other immigrants had kind of other people, collective immigrants that they kind of would hang out with, but we didn't really know that many Maltese people. We weren't hanging around in a big group. So growing up, I was thinking, okay, you sometimes feel a little bit like you're different because the culture is very different. The Maltese culture and the English culture is very different. So it's like, is this a Maltese thing or is this my family? Like always trying to work out where the difference was coming from. And yeah, just kind of, and I think that's kind of come into my work a little bit of just feeling not sure where my place is, and my characters are a bit like that as well. And also, I don't think my mum really understood English people at all. So she would say, "Oh, English people." It's a bit of a kind of like, don't get it. It is different way of thinking. And so I'd be like, yeah, English people. But then it'd be like, oh, but am I English? I think I might be English. And then it's like, no, I must be Maltese. But then when I go to Malta, it's like, oh, I can't speak the language and I'm not Maltese. What am I? Just like,
Yes.
where's my place? That kind of thing. So
Yes.
I think without even realizing it, that's definitely gone into my work, especially with this thing with my little rabbit who's in a human world, my fluffy character. He's definitely he's in the world and it's a very realistic world, but he's rabbit. So it's like it's a sort of odd one out. And
Yes.
also the rabbit thing, okay, that came up in conversation a lot when we were growing up, like rabbits. Like, oh, what's
Because
that smell? It smells like rabbits in here, that sort of thing. I don't know. Is that a Maltese thing or is that my family? Do
yes.
rabbits come up in conversation a lot?
Well,
Do
I
they
think
come up?
it's your conversation with your family. But to be
Oh,
fair, a lot of Maltese families used to bring up rabbits to eat, not as pets. So maybe
so
there was
part of the
that.
conversation, yeah. It's
Yes.
part of the conversation, rabbits.
True, true. To be fair, no one was like Fluffy though. So we're gonna speak about Fluffy now. So, for our listeners' sake, to catch up with what we were saying, Simon Lia, he was a graphic artist, has a graphic novel called Fluffy. This beautiful little bunny. He has his own character. It's a personal self-published project. Started off as a self-published project, and then it was picked up and published widely abroad in England. But we can also buy them in Malta. So, what was it like to watch such a story grow from something that you came up with, maybe something that was discussed in your family, these rabbits, your feeling of not feeling in part of being English or Maltese, and now so many people are enjoying this book, the series
Well,
actually.
I mean, this came out a long, long time ago. So it was self-published because, yeah, and I did it in bits, chapter by chapter. So at the time, I really didn't know much about how to make a comic or even the language, the visual language of comics. So I was kind of pretty much making it up as I was going along, creating this longer form comic, which I later understood is called a graphic novel. So I was making it up as I went along, and I knew that I wanted to make a bigger book. Uh, but even that, it's like, how do you tell a big story? And also, how am I going to find the funds to do it as well? I will get back to your question in a second.
It's
I'm going
okay.
off track.
It's okay.
But, I had a sort of business mentor at the time, and he was so lovely. And he said to me, "Well, why don't you just do like Charles Dickens did and publish it chapter by chapter?"
That's a good
So
idea.
it was such a good idea. It meant that, each one could pay for the next one, but also it meant that I was getting feedback from people.
Amazing.
So
So
yeah, people back in the day, people would send in a check
oh,
with a
so
little letter to buy the book, and I sent it out, and that was paying for the next one. But also they were giving me feedback, and it seemed to really, this little character, for whatever reason, seemed to really resonate with people.
yes.
I think this feeling of this character that just didn't quite fit in this human world, a lot of people seem to be able to relate to it for
Yes.
some reason. And also, I didn't write whether Fluffy, at that time, Fluffy, my little rabbit, was kind of nursery age. Maybe 4 years old or so, or 5 years old. And I didn't write whether it was a he or a she. I just sort of used very neutral. I just avoided that altogether. And what I thought was interesting was a lot of women writing in was calling Fluffy she, and a lot of men were calling it Fluffy
Oh,
he.
how
So that
sweet.
just showed to me that people were projecting themselves onto the character, which I really like that actually. So and people were giving different feedback about the character as well, which wasn't even in the book, but it was just their own projection. So I think it's sort of tapping into something inner, maybe the inner child or whatever it was. So yeah, there was something that resonated.
As
Yes.
I followed the character myself, I feel that his vulnerability, for me, he's a he.
Yes.
His vulnerability I could resonate with because everyone
Yeah.
has, and you portrayed so innocently and accurately, actually. So, what inspired you to write your latest graphic novel? So, which is How to Make Life Better When It Feels Like It's Getting Worse. I love the title. You always come up with really great titles.
Long place.
And maybe you could tell us where we can follow or purchase or somehow guide us a bit.
Okay. So the first book came out in the early 2000s, was self-published, and it got picked up by a publisher. And then I left it at that. But years later, I started thinking, oh, I wonder what did happen to my little Fluffy. He'd be a teenager now. So I started thinking about him as he was getting older in real time. And the first book was very much about the relationship between him and his dad in the story. And I was thinking, oh, I wonder what happened to the dad. Like, he was a bit sort of emotionally stunted. And I just thought, I wonder if he's all right as well. So I started thinking about that. And then, yeah, this new book that came out so many years later is Fluffy. He's in his early 20s now. So
Amazing.
this is written from his perspective, and he's messed up a lot in his life. Like, he hasn't quite fitted in. He hasn't quite found his place in the world. He's been hiding a lot as well, and he's failed his GCSEs and everything. His life's gone a little bit wrong, so he decides to write this self-help book. But even that goes a bit wrong. So it's more like a sort of a memoir of his life. And yeah, it's him showing what's happened in his life, and also the story is continuing. So it is in this book, but also he has got a life outside of the book as well. So he's kind of documenting what he's doing on social media under his name, Fluffy Pulcino. This year he's done different bits of work experience. He's had an art exhibition with me.
How cute.
Yeah, he's just trying different things. He's trying to find a job now because his nonna says he needs to get a job, and his dad really wants him to find his, I don't know, his purpose, I suppose, his reason for being. So just exploring. Yes, there is this book, but it's kind of a snapshot of his life. But yeah, the story is continuing, and I'm really rooting for him. I want him to find out who he is, what his real mission is.
Yeah,
And
and the readers who have been reading Fluffy books since they were children are now at the age that you're writing now, so that could resonate
yeah,
with them. So it's a
yeah.
nice place, a nice space to reach out to your readers as they are growing up. I find that amazing, such a beautiful project that one can grow up with. You also have a project now, a recent one, where you're displaying Fluffy on a billboard in Broccoli. Not to sell anything, just so that you can connect with people in their everyday life. So what inspired this idea, and how does bringing art into public spaces change the experience for the audience this time?
So years ago, when I left college, years and years ago, I got together with some friends, and we decided it'd be really cool to use the billboard, the advertising space, which has just got ugly adverts selling stuff.
Yeah,
We thought, let's see if we can get some art on there and do this project called Happiness in Broccoli to uplift the neighborhood and
amazing.
and, and make pictures that just really, give someone a smile on their face. So we got some funding, and that all happened, and it was great. This public art exhibition. And at that time, when I was sort of thinking about Fluffy before doing the books or anything like that, I drew a picture of Fluffy and his dad walking down this street that I live on, actually.
How cute.
And I could see, I remember walking home from the station once, and I could see someone looking up. He double took and he looked again, and then he just burst out laughing and he slapped his thighs.
How
And to
sweet.
see that actual reaction and impact of someone, it was just, honestly, it was like really a highlight. So when this new book came out, I'll show you the cover. This one, when this came out, I thought, oh, it'd be really wonderful to revisit that billboard campaign and do something to uplift the neighbours. So
That's nice.
thought, I thought I'm just gonna. Oh, it was a bit ridiculous because you had to pay for the billboard.
Yeah, yes, yes.
My husband was very supportive. So let's just go for it. Let's do it. And it's just to come full circle. And so there's an old building at the end of the road, an old laundrette, and I drew my little Fluffy sitting on the stairs of this building. It's actually at the bus stop, and the drawings on that billboard and also in the book, they're very, very realistic drawings.
Yes. You
And
can
so
you
he's
can
saying,
see them. Imagine you're walking past them actually.
yeah, yeah. And so I drew this scene, and in the picture, he was saying, actually, it's behind me.
Yeah,
My
yeah, you
nana
could
once,
maybe show us.
once
There you
said,
go. So it
remember,
says,
you're not alone. Yeah, I
so my
think about
nana
that.
once said, "Remember, you're not alone." I think about that a lot. And that's a really nice message because first off, you're connecting in like intergenerational memories, and everyone has, a wiser person that they met once, an older person who might have said something. So you can link to that, to their
Yeah,
memory, their collective memory.
yeah. So there's that, and it's like, oh, that's a nice message. But people, when they were seeing, it, they're like, what? Why is there that? I know that billboard because the billboard was opposite this building,
How
so it's
sweet.
very like targeted. So people are like, oh my
Specific.
gosh, that's like our laundrette, that building I walk past every day and don't really think about. Suddenly it becomes art, and when you do a drawing of it, it becomes a lot more beautiful as
Of
well. So
course. Of
turning
course.
something a bit ordinary, something you wouldn't notice, and putting it bam, like huge on a billboard, it definitely got some attention. And
Mm-hmm.
my husband and also a friend of mine really encouraged us to get like this a little space as well where we could have an exhibition, and it was it's an exhibition of Fluffy in lots of different places around in the area, just really celebrating where we live, and a
Amazing.
space to bring people together, community to celebrate and to uplift. And it honestly, it really did uplift our people because when you that's speaking to me, and it's not trying to sell me anything. There's no cynical thing going on. It's
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
this is our little, yeah, this is
Mm-hmm.
our area. So
Mm-hmm.
so that was the idea. And again, it was like, oh, just seeing people just really enjoying it was really brilliant. And I was getting messages from people saying, "Oh, my WhatsApp group's popping off." Like people were like sharing, and
How
there's what's this
cute.
billboard? Oh, there's an exhibition on. Oh. So yeah,
Yes.
that was quite fun seeing. And also, it's a comic as well. And comics in the art world, they're a real underdog, and I love the underdog. So it's just
Mm-hmm.
kind of like bringing that, giving it a bit of a platform to say, yeah, comic pictures and words,
Mm-hmm.
stories to
Mm-hmm. And
communicate
they
feelings,
resonate.
emotion.
They resonate at a different level. Like you said, you're elevating a common memory of all the people that walk that street. You're elevating it to to an artistic level, and so you're giving them more value because they are
Yeah.
walking through the street that is now an art piece.
I just thought, oh, there's so much rubbish, doom and gloom going on in the world. And like my book's called How to Make Life Better When It Feels Like It's Getting Worse. And it's just like being a collective, all the stuff in the world. Oh, it's just horrible. So I just thought I want to use my art to bring a bit of love into the world. This is the
Amazing.
gift that I've been given. I want to use it so it can uplift and give someone a bit of encouragement. And if someone is feeling a bit like, oh, I feel like I'm all on my own, actually, you're not alone. You are
Yes.
loved.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
that
I'm
was
really
that.
happy for about this project because it's a good neighborly project. So a lot of your work touches upon relationships, identity, humor, and vulnerability, like we were saying, from comics to books and now billboards. What are the core human themes you find yourself drawn to again and again in your storytelling?
Hmm. I think I think I'm exploring what it is to be human, and also doing that in a comic strip because I have a weekly comic strip in the Observer. Um, and you have like a limited set space that you can work with for, I don't know, 4 panels, however many panels, but it's a
About four
finite
panels.
space.
Yes,
Yeah,
very
or I mean
very
sometimes I
short.
break it up, but yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
just a finite space. And I think about stuff really a lot. I spend a lot of time thinking about life, time passing, and I do that with the comic strip as well. Comics are very much about time passing, and I think about how that relates to our life as well. We've got a finite time here, so
Exactly.
what is this all about? And where am I going after that panel finishes? So it's, it's spiritual thing, like, about God, relationship with God, and but they're not. It's like I have to sort of censor myself a little bit because I'm living in a very secular society and I don't want to put people off. I want to be able to communicate with everybody, but those elements really come into it. My relationship with God, my creator, and when you're creating stuff, you're thinking about this like I'm their little creator, and it's like that. But I'm God's creator. I'm God's little comic character.
Yeah. It's
And
true.
he's
It's
given me
true.
all these panels that I can't see. That I've got a finite amount of time, and yeah, think
Yeah.
about those things. It's quite.
Amazing, amazing. And
Mm.
I love the way you described it. You are always thinking about how to be human. I think that's a
Mhm.
question many leaders should be asking themselves, how to be human and more humane. Moving on, because I have so many questions and very limited time. So, your work spans from adult comics, children's books, weekly strips, and graphic novels. So, that's about almost everything, right?
Mhm.
How do you approach writing for different audiences? And does your creative process change depending on who you're speaking to through your art?
Well, I know it should do, but it doesn't really.
It's no, there's no, it should do. You're the artist,
Well,
so
it should.
it's your.
Well, it really. It's like, oh, I could put this in a children's thing, or I could put this. Well, I mean, I wrote these children's books these a while ago, and they're novels, but they're illustrated. Okay,
Mhm.
so this is marketed at children, and it says somewhere for that they're 7 to 9 year olds. But actually, any I wrote this for any age.
No, I
So
read
I
that. I
think it.
enjoyed that. I'm not
Oh,
7 or 9.
well, are you sure?
Yeah, well, yes,
At
sometimes I
heart,
am.
at heart. Um, but yeah, no, it's I was thinking this could be a book about marriage actually, or relationships.
True.
Actually, maybe not that one. The sequel more about it's about relationship, how we are in a relationship. So it's just kind of it's just the marketing. It's just
I
it's
see.
got
I
to
see.
think who it's got to be aimed at. So this is aimed at children, but actually, if you're any age, you're
Yes,
gonna
you
you'll
can
enjoy it,
read. And
hopefully.
yes.
And
So,
also, this one's supposed to be for adults, but I was like, oh, actually, I want. It's got a little rabbit in it, so I think children will pick this up. So yeah,
yeah,
the character's in his 20s, but I know that children will read it. So I did it so that any age can read it. It's not going to
amazing.
find anything dodgy in there.
So the process, the process is basically your question again of being human is more of that question, whichever genre you're using. Is that
Yeah.
is that it?
Well, the genre is comics, but yeah, whoever it's supposed to be, whoever it's marketed at, I do it so that anybody can read it.
Okay.
So, even the newspaper, I think most of them, that, it's all, if a child picked that up, it should be suitable, though I think I might have put something couple that are a bit,
Yeah,
shouldn't have put that. But
maybe
yeah,
PG,
yeah,
not universal, PG.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
okay. Children can think.
Thanks, Ange.
So we are living in a world that values speed and productivity. So it's very
Mhm.
capitalistic. How do you protect the time and space you need to be creative? Do you have routines or philosophies to sustain your artistic practice?
Very good question. Yes, we do live in a very fast-paced, it's all the internet and everything. But I do have some little routines actually. So get up early, meet my friend at 6 o'clock online. We pray the rosary together.
Oh, sweet.
That's really good. It's a great way to start the day. And then I either go for sort of walk run or we take it in turns, take daughter to school. So either before or after the school run, I walk sort of, I don't really run, I just walk. But like about an hour, and that routine of just kind of not having my phone on me or anything on me, just thinking and taking things in and slowing everything down and doing a bit, moving my body. And that is, I don't know why, but somehow walking or moving is a really great way to think about the bigger pictures in life and also, I don't know, come up with comic strips.
Amazing. No, I'm in awe. So moving on, because I have two more questions. So when you're reading your work, I feel like you capture humor and introspection equally. There's both. How do you balance comedy with a deeper emotional truth, and where does this blend come from to you?
I don't know, Angel.
It's just instinctive. You're like that.
I don't know. I think when you talk about, when you get to the core of the matter and trying to tell the truth as well, get really real, it's just quite funny sometimes as well. It's,
Yes. Our vulnerability tends to be funny, no? Once you look from it from afar a bit.
I don't know. Just people are just funny. Um,
Yeah.
and also, oh, this is a slightly different answer to a complete question you didn't ask, but I like to let my characters have their own life as well. So they don't always say what I want them to say or do what I want them to say. So, for instance, I'm sort of slightly completely changed the subject, but
That's
when I
okay.
was doing this Fluffy, I didn't know what was going to this. Actually, all of my books, I never know what's going to happen. It's just seriously page by page. I have a vague feeling of what might happen. So I knew that in the first book, I wanted to have a character who was a bit overbearing and had um, a very life-changing moment, and that ended up being his nunna who had this conversion to Catholicism, and that's what happened to me when I was doing research. It was kind of like life imitating art, that kind of thing. So Fluffy was kind of brought up in a bit of a Catholic household, but then when he's older he really rejects it. It's like I was a bit disappointed that he did that, but he's got a life of his a
Yes.
mind of his own, a heart of his own.
Yes.
So, and they make me laugh sometimes, the things they come out with, the little characters just being themselves. So,
Amazing. Amazing.
yeah.
So, as a last message to
Um,
young artists, illustrators, storytellers,
mm.
especially those who want to build a creative life and be true to themselves and open to the world, what would that be from you?
Oh, just to start making stuff. And that's really like really obvious, isn't it? If you
Yeah.
like, for instance, if you like doing comics, start making comics. Don't think about it too much. Start making it. See if you can make some, sell them to your friends, give them out to people in your community, work with in your community. Then they've got the internet where you can just self-publish stuff. But you don't even need to use the internet, I don't think. You can use the communities that you're in and offer to do things to get things going and build your communities from real life. It doesn't always have to be on the internet. It doesn't have to be with a big publisher. It doesn't, there's different routes. Things, if you like telling stories and creating stuff, you can be creative in finding a way to make that happen so you can do it in real life so that it all works out somehow.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Simone, for being with us, being so generous with your life story, your creativity, and obviously your books. And we can
Thank you
follow
very much,
you
Angela.
on your website, right? Simone Lia.
Yeah, and my little rabbit, Fluffy Pulcino, Pulcino, he's got his own Instagram handle as well if you
Amazing.
want to check out what he's doing. And simonleah.com as well.
Amazing. Thank you so much. U
Thank
nirringrazzja
you.
lilkom tal-li segwejtu il-programm Ispirazzjoni u Esperimenti. Islim.
Ispirazzjoni u esperimenti ma' Angel Gallia.